Where can you find a ghost town within a town? You just have to see this one right here on Ghost Towns and More. Deep in the middle of the state of Colorado is a high-elevation basin called South Park, where early prospectors stumbled upon rich opportunities for finding gold. The South Park Valley was rich with wildlife, water, and lush greenlands that were perfect for settlement, if you didn't mind the Arctic-like winters at an elevation of just under 10,000 feet. But that didn't stop fortune hunters from setting up gold camps during the mid to late 1800s. Due to the demand for a more equitable mining claim system, a new town was founded in 1859 and given the name Fairplay. 10 years later, the town took on the name of the basin region of South Park City. Then in 1874, the name was changed back to Fairplay. A smallpox epidemic swept through the area in 1861, making many people very sick. Popular lore tells of a remarkable story about a young woman who was an attractive dancer. She went by the nickname of Silver Heels, likely from her silvery shoes. When the epidemic struck, many women and children of the town were sent away for quarantine. But Silver Heels decided to stay behind and care for the miners who were too sick to care for themselves, even though she knew she had the risk of becoming sick herself. The stories vary, but Silver Heels became ill with the disease, and it badly scarred her face. The miners took up a collection for her, but when they went to her cabin to give her the money, they found she was gone. No one ever heard from her again, and no one knew what became of her. They couldn't find her because no one knew her real name. But a nearby mountain was named Mount Silver Heels in her honor. Fairplay was a busy place and served several stage lines. In 1881, the railroad arrived. The placer mining in the rivers and hydraulic mining provided a steady profit for the town. But it prospered best as a supply and transportation center, with the population growing to over 500. In the mid-1920s, a dredge was brought into the mining district to make placer mining more effective, and it continued until 1951. Mining camps and towns in the South Park region began to fade away as the mining played out, and Fairplay continued to thrive as a supply center. In the years that followed, people wanted to preserve the historical buildings in the South Park valleys. An idea was conceived during the 1950s to bring all the remnants of neighboring ghost towns to a designated place for preservation. A number of buildings were carefully moved from their original locations and brought to a designated street at the north end of Fairplay. Families and citizens from around the county donated over 40,000 artifacts to help furnish the buildings and recreate the feel of an authentic town from the past that they called South Park City. The project to reconstruct a town from the past was a tremendous effort on the part of the citizens in Colorado. 100 years from the time that gold was first discovered in the area, South Park City opened in 1959 with fanfare and celebrations. The South Park City Museum Town within Fairplay consists of 43 original buildings, each furnished with historical items and artifacts of the past, as well as old wagons, a locomotive, and train. Interpretive signs and histories are provided as you enjoy a self-guided tour. Elsewhere in the town of Fairplay are historical churches and buildings with a population of less than 700. The quaint, small-town atmosphere is pleasant to visit when the South Park Museum Town is open during the months of May through October. So much history has been brought together all in one place that Fairplay is a great place to visit in your travels during the warmer months of the year. There are plenty of accommodations and services, so you can spend some leisure time getting to know the carefully preserved history of the region.